On this Sunday night, Doug Ford is now the undisputed leader of Ontario Conservatives after a chaotic race and a backroom battle for power. Known for simple slogans and his disdain of the media, he has drawn comparisons to Donald Trump. But will Ford's brand of populism sway voters in Canada's biggest province? Also tonight, China rules its leader can be president for life. And the gyrating Russian grannies standing up to Vladimir Putin. The National starts now. A sexual misconduct scandal, an ousted leader, and a mad scramble to replace him. It has been a tumultuous 6 weeks for the Ontario PC Party. And now, Doug Ford, brother of the late Rob Ford, sits in the pilot's chair. He is aggressive, anti-establishment, and as Ron Charles shows us, gearing up for another fight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Doug Ford marched in Toronto's St. Patrick's Day Parade today, his first event as new leader of the Ontario PC Party and the first step on the road to June's election.
I look forward to defeating Kathleen Wynne and bringing prosperity back to this great province.
At a rally today, Premier Kathleen Wynne offered the new leader congratulations, but
who we are fighting against has changed, but who we are fighting for has not changed.
Ford is about as different from Wynne as you can get. As a one-time Toronto City Councillor, he was closely tied to his late brother Rob Ford's chaotic, controversial mayoralty. Like his brother, he favors simple slogans over complicated policy, the kind of plain-talking populism that attracts some voters.
He seems to be pretty good in Toronto, thinking about, like I said, the little guys.
But repels others.
It worries me a little bit. I mean, you look at what's going on south of the border. You know, I hope it's not Trump Part 2.
Former Conservative MP Paul Calandra is a provincial PC candidate who had supported Ford's rival Christine Elliott, but is now falling in behind Ford.
His method of speaking and talking to people, he's a very personable person. He's straightforward, and it seems that's for sure what the people of our party wanted.
But Ford didn't have an easy ride to victory. Party members gathered last night for a vote announcement event waited hours for results before getting told to go home without any.
I ask you to please go home to await the results.
Elliott had challenged the extremely close result. She didn't concede until this evening. Still, analysts say Ford has a good chance.
Because Kathleen Wynne's government is so unpopular, Doug Ford might still be able to win the upcoming election, despite the fact that he has such high unfavorability ratings.
For many Ontarians, June's election may come down to choosing which leader they dislike the least. Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
As you heard in Ron's piece, some have made comparisons with Donald Trump, but Ford and Trump are far from political clones. There are parallels and stark differences. Unlike Trump, Ford has no anti-immigration or nativist record. He's got a lot of support from visible minorities, and unlike Trump's unorthodox policies,
if that takes tariffs, let him take tariffs.
Many of Ford's could be torn from any conservative playbook going back 30 years.
Ontario will be open for business.
But just like Trump, Ford has signaled he'll be a champion of socially conservative values. For example, recently supporting restrictions on access to abortions.
I think we got to consult parents, and that's what we have to do.
Oh, we love defeating those people, don't we? Don't we love defeating them?
In terms of style and messaging, they are both candidates of mistrust. Mistrust of the media, mistrust of government.
We're going to end the government corruption, and we're going to drain the swamp.
We're going to go down there and sanitize the politically corrupt Queen's Park.
And mistrust of establishment politicians seen to serve only themselves.
I'm here to give a voice to the hardworking taxpayers of this province.
The forgotten men and women of our country.
People who have been ignored
will be forgotten no longer.
Ford understood the power of Trump's message long before Americans cast ballots in 2016.
They're tired of the Washington elites and the Washington establishment that's been running the country. So he's real. He says what a lot of people are thinking, and he's going to win.
Ford was right-hand man to Canada's last great anti-politician.
it's just lies after lies and lies. And I've called you pathological liars, and you are.
Doug Ford's late brother, Rob, world-renowned for his scandals.
Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine, probably in one of my drunken stupors.
Back then, Doug was Rob's bare-knuckle defender. And since then, he's cultivated the image as Rob's successor. And now that he's running for premier, politics in Ontario set to get rougher, ruder, and more unpredictable. Mike Crawley covers the Ontario legislature for us, and he was all over every twist and turn in that very late leadership announcement last night. So, Mike, I think the question most of us want to know, could Doug Ford win the election in June?
Absolutely. Look, Kathleen Wynne is right now ranked as the most unpopular premier in the country, and Doug Ford has a lot of appeal in all sorts of parts of Ontario. Look, he won this leadership race, and he taps into this kind of populism. He also has a strong campaign machinery with him. He's got smart people around him. He has an appeal beyond the Greater Toronto area. And, Kathleen Wynne's own chief campaign strategist just said last week that Doug Ford was the candidate among the PCs that he feared the most because Liberals struggle to campaign against a populist candidate like a Doug Ford.
And break down that appeal of Doug Ford for voters. I mean, what is it exactly that he's been able to tap into with them that others haven't, at least not to the same extent?
Yeah, so when I say he's a populist, he's a true populist. You see how he deals with ordinary people on the street, people of all walks of life, people of all different skin colors. He connects with people. He doesn't talk down to people. He also, pitches himself as looking out after the little guy, as having taxpayers' interests at heart. And that's a message that resonates with a lot of folks, which is, of course, one of the words that Doug Ford likes to use. He talks to people as folks.
Right. And so substantively then, if Doug Ford wins, how different would Ontario look?
So we haven't seen a platform from him. He's talked about some of the stuff that he would do. There would have to be budget cuts in some way. He says they're spending too much money up at Queen's Park, and he's going to come in and clean things up. So where would those budget cuts come from? He's not been very specific about that. We know that he has no plan for dealing with climate change. He's against the carbon tax that would be imposed by Justin Trudeau. He would get rid of the cap-and-trade system that we have here in Ontario, brought in by Kathleen Wynne. So we don't, specific things about health or education, but there would definitely be some cuts to government under a Doug Ford premiership.
Lots to watch for, that's for sure. Mike Crawley, thanks so much. Let's turn to politics south of the border now. And today, aides to Donald Trump said he is sticking with his controversial plan to meet with Kim Jong-un and will not set any more conditions for North Korea ahead of their historic face-to-face. But as Paul Hunter tells us, critics are worried about exactly how that meeting might play out.
One question, if the talks go ahead, is which Donald Trump will show up? This one?
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself. He is a sick puppy. He has said things that are horrific. And with me, he's not getting away with it.
Or the Trump who last night struck a different tone.
I believe that. I really do. I think they want to do something. I think they want to make peace. I think it's time.
But ever since last week's surprise offer for talks with Kim Jong-un delivered by South Korean officials directly to Trump, Trump critics have emphasized it's a high-risk endeavor, especially for a president long derided as a foreign policy rookie.
I am very worried that he's going to go into these negotiations and be taken advantage of.
Still, even as those South Koreans returned home today, Trump officials were quick to point out it's the president's actions that led to the offer of talks in the first place.
We've done more sanctions this year than the entire last 10 years, and there's no question these sanctions are working, and that's what's brought him to the table.
Pressure will continue to mount on North Korea. There is no relief in sight until the president gets the objective that he has set forth consistently during his entire time in office.
The objective is the complete denuclearization of North Korea. Is it achievable? by a U.S. president also scorned for petulance and impulsiveness. Last night, even he pushed back when the crowd booed at that name.
Kim Jong-un. And no, it's very positive. No. After the meeting, you may do that, but now we have to be very nice because let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
No little rocket man. Not this time. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Now, while Trump was making nice with North Korea, during that same speech, he took a shot at Canada. Have a listen.
Canada's brutal. Canada's really tough. Hey, and I don't blame them. Why should I blame them? Because they've just outsmarted our politicians for decades. And I don't mean Obama. I mean all of them. Since Bush the first.
The president also highlighted once again that exempting Canada from the new steel tariff will only continue if he's happy with the outcome of ongoing NAFTA negotiations. I'm joined now by Katie Simpson in Ottawa. So, Katie, for at least the next month, I suppose it's going to be like the sword of Damocles hanging. We should expect to hear a lot of bluster just like that.
Yeah, Andrew, the next round of NAFTA talks is expected to start in April, and clearly Donald Trump is trying to amp up the pressure around that. The president is not dropping his threat to impose steel and aluminum tariffs on Canada and Mexico unless both agree to his NAFTA demands. Now, despite what Trump says, Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister is refusing to link these issues.
We will not be subject to any form of pressure at the NAFTA negotiating table. And this is important, our NAFTA negotiating position has not been changed by this episode. We are very clear on that.
Chrystia Freeland's next big challenge will be getting that same message to stick in the U.S. She'll try and do that by continuing the Canadian Charm Offensive outreach program at full speed. The government will also try and put some Canadians at ease this week. The Prime Minister will visit nearly half a dozen aluminum and steel plants over the next 3 days. Justin Trudeau will be highlighting how these industries have helped solidify the Canada-U.S. trading relationship. But this past week has been filled with uncertainty for these sectors. So Trudeau can expect to be meeting with anxious workers who have blunt questions about how he's going to protect their jobs, Andrew.
Katie Simpson in Ottawa. Thanks.
Thanks.
We want to update you now on a story we told you about on Wednesday. It involved Gerald Stanley, who was found not guilty in the shooting death of Colton Bushy. We reported the RCMP released him from custody prior to taking his statement. But one of our sources for that information is no longer certain this is accurate. We asked the RCMP specifically about that issue before broadcast. They declined to comment. And still to come on The National tonight, China ties its future to Xi Jinping. A historic vote confirms his status as the most powerful leader since Mao. And in tonight's Dispatch, how the Russian government got more than it bargained for when it slapped down air cadets for their racy video.
Satisfaction. Satisfaction. Satisfaction.
It turned two grannies into an internet sensation with their own saucy protest. That's next.
From the din of battle stands a Canadian General Hospital housing some of Canada's casualties recently arrived from France. A welcome visitor comes to its doors, Her Majesty the Queen, who is taking time out from her many functions to visit her Canadian boys. The trim gray-clad figure with a dazzling smile wears the diamond maple leaf presented to her during the royal visit to Canada. For 3 hours in every ward, she talks to the wounded fighting men of Canada. The magic of her personality banishes all thoughts of depression. After speaking to each man individually and hearing their thrilling stories, the Queen comments briefly, the Canadians are doing a wonderful job. She leaves behind appreciation for her kindly thoughtfulness. To dockyards across the Dominion, Canadian girls flock to answer the call of the United Nations for ships and more ships. Joan Canuck has forsaken Vogue and Vanity Fair for blueprints and construction plans. The frilly dresses and fancy hairdos of pre-war days have given way to overalls and workers' caps. Brother, husband, and boyfriend on the Italian front and in Normandy need supplies, and supplies mean ships to carry them. Miss Canada is just the person to build those ships, and build them well with her own lily-white hands. After the war, a barrage of red-hot rivets may take the place of the traditional rolling pin as feminine weapon Mark I when hubby comes home late. When it comes to fixing the gas stove or the family bus, the boys will have to take a back seat. When victory is won, a great share of the credit will be due to our fair Amazons in overalls. The convoy at sea represents the lifeline of our forces in the field. To maintain one fighting man in action, it requires 19 other men behind the scenes. Most of these are found handling the gigantic project of keeping the Army supplied with weapons, ammunition, and food, and the Air Force with planes and petrol. Under the Navy's protecting guns, all manner of craft are brought into use in the never-ending battle of keeping supply dumps filled. As soon as a beachhead is established, cargo vessels which are standing by commence pouring out their quota of stores.
A developing story we're watching on The National tonight. This amateur video appears to show a helicopter with people on board plunging into New York's East River. It happened around 7 p.m. local time. Divers from police and fire departments responded quickly. At least 2 people are dead, but 1 person did survive the crash.
Cash towns are usually packed on the Sunday, but I think a lot of people are just staying away.
British officials are urging anyone who is at a Salisbury restaurant or pub to take precautions. A trace amount of the nerve agent used to poison a former Russian spy has been found at 2 locations. Although the risk of contamination is small, hundreds of people are being told to wash their clothes. The Syrian army has split the rebel enclave in eastern Ghouta, cutting off 2 major towns from the rest of the area. Huge plumes of smoke can be seen behind the ravaged landscape. More than 1,100 civilians have been killed in the onslaught since it began 3 weeks ago. Well, for decades, Western powers have waited for China's government to drift toward some sort of democracy. They hoped China's embrace of global trade would naturally expose the country to liberal ideas and bring more power to the people. Well, all such hopes seemed lost today when the National People's Congress removed the 2-term limit for presidents, essentially making Xi Jinping a leader for life.
Xi Jinping is only 64 years old. As far as we know, he's in excellent health. And it really could be that China, like it had in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, now has a dictator for life.
Of nearly 3,000 ballots cast, only 2 opposed the move, and government censors shut down online criticism. It's a far cry from Bill Clinton's vision of a more democratic China. I just think it's inevitable, he said in 1997, just as inevitably the Berlin Wall fell. Aside from stifling human rights, today's move could also take an economic toll. After all, say some experts, absolute power can often mean little debate, leading to bad policy. Now, while China's system drifts further towards one-man rule, Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, is all but assured to win an election in a week's time. Opposition figures are routinely jailed, sometimes attacked. But Russians are finding new and sometimes strange avenues of protest. Cue the chain-smoking grandmas and the grimy dance music. I'll let Chris Brown explain in tonight's Dispatch from St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, birthplace of the Russian Revolution and historic seat of Russia's czars, is no stranger to political protest. But rarely has Russia seen anything like these women or their video. Two grandmothers gyrating and spoofing erotic dance moves in their rundown Soviet-era kitchen to an old Europop tune called Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Satisfaction. Satisfaction. Satisfaction.
Meet Natalia Izokevich and Ksenia Negratova. They're funny, they're bold, and they're brash. And they're willing to say things many Russians wouldn't dare.
У нас же вообще протестное поле сужено уже вообще до такой, да, то есть вообще уже ничего нельзя.
Push me, and then just touch me.
The two women made their dance video to show political solidarity with these guys and their video. They're Russian student pilots from a prestigious training academy stripping down to their skivvies. They didn't appear motivated by anything other than having fun, but all that thrusting quickly made political headlines. Outraged by the homoerotic undertones, embarrassed school officials and many in Russia's government called for them all to be expelled.
Ну, хоть как-то выразить свой протест охота вот против идиотизма, потому что ну, это уже какая-то квинтэссенция идиотизма. Вот.
And that might have happened if people like Ksenia and Natalia hadn't taken a stand.
Что они плохого сделали? Я вообще считаю, когда люди никому никакого вреда не причиняют, не нравится, выключи компьютер, не смотри. Все очень просто.
Господи, вот не хочется говорить, но тут прямо вот хочется сказать. Когда этот наш пересидент,
хорошо,
безобразный, голый, лазит в прорубь, а тут парни красивые идут. Меня еще, честно говоря, как я есть советский человек, меня поразило, что у парней такой хороший вкус в плане нижнего белья. Я вспоминаю нижнее белье в свои времена.
And, as it turns out, a surprising number of other Russians felt the same way. They started producing their own music videos. And so, stung by the unusual show of support, the powers that be backed off. In this socially conservative country, strike an unexpected victory for tolerance over tradition.
Satisfaction.
But for Ksenia and Natalia, the protest wasn't only about helping the students. By dancing through Natalia's communal apartment, including a stop at the toilet she shares with other residents, the pair also wanted to show how poor many Russian seniors are who live on government pensions.
Can you tell me what kind of Russia would you like to see?
We should live better. We should live better. I mean, we have to make a lot of reforms.
Now, they're using their newfound fame to sound off about those reforms, starting with better pensions.
Значит, я не знаю, как у вас в стране называется вот пенсионный возраст, серебряный возраст, да? У нас, знаете, как это называется? Возраст дожития. Все. No comments.
We have to be ready to die if we are retired.
Natalia is 64, and she gets a monthly pension of about 300 Canadian dollars. That's about average for someone over the age of 55. Out of that, she pays $70 for this tiny apartment. It's maybe 160 square feet. It's so small that her shower is in her kitchen.
We are very proud with this shower. Cannot try to live for pension money. It's impossible. We are working.
Это счастье, что мы здоровые люди. Генетика хорошая. А так вот я не представляю. Это страшно представить себе.
So both women are still working and likely will have to keep working. Natalia at a sewing factory, Ksenia as a psychiatrist. They're actually fortunate. Many older Russians cannot work. Outside a St. Petersburg subway station, you can see scores of seniors, some well into their 80s, trying to top up their pensions by selling whatever they can. Valia told us she lives frugally. Her pension's not enough to afford gifts for her grandchildren, which is why she's out here. It's a certainty that Vladimir Putin will win the election next week, but they say they won't be voting for him.
Нашего возраста дураков очень много. Вспоминают, как было хорошо при советской власти. При советской власти действительно было очень хорошо. Знаете, в каком плане? У моих ровесников была очень хорошая эрекция.
The raunchy talk takes the edge off their frustrations. Public pressure may have forced Russian authorities to change their tune in the case of the underwear-clad student pilots, but the grandmothers say they're much less optimistic anything will change for Russia's impoverished seniors. Chris Brown, CBC News in St. Petersburg.
And here's some other stories we'll have for you tonight on The National. A sandwich with a side of no nonsense. We'll remember the matriarch of a legendary Montreal deli. And Adrian meets black artists taking a hard look at Canada.
Help me out here. I know this is St. Kitts, but those newspapers are from Newfoundland.
Yes, so those are from the Evening Telegram. So this image is from 1903, and the newspaper ads are also from the same era.
Forgive me for putting on these sunglasses, but they're actually bifocals and they're the only glasses I have with me. I don't like to see people wearing sunglasses in interviews. This is the only poem I can read. I am the only one who can write it. I didn't kill myself when things went wrong. I didn't turn to drugs or teaching. I tried to sleep, but when I couldn't sleep, I learned to write. I learned to write what might be read on nights like this by one like me.
Through his work, Leonard Cohen has cultivated a public persona just as interesting as his writing that deserves and has a new anthology. While Cohen prefers talking about the present and the future, this book has him looking to his past.
Now, the early stuff was written between the ages of 15 and 20, you know. I think it's been downhill ever since, so I had a real gift then.
In 1956, while still an undergraduate at Montreal's McGill University, he won a national prize for his first book of poetry. His second won him international acclaim.
His blood on my arm is warm as a bird. His heart in my hand is heavy as lead. His eyes through my eyes shine brighter than love. Oh, send out the raven ahead of the dove.
Cohen quickly cultivated the reputation of a chronically depressed poet who was both hip and hypnotic. He dubbed himself the Grocer of Pain. And while the Grocer of Pain is still at his post, since 1967, he's been putting his words to music.
We're drinking and we're dancing. The band is really happening. The Johnny Walker wisdom running high. And my very sweet companion, she's an angel of compassion. She's rubbing half the world against her thigh.
At the beginning of his musical career, friends begged him not to sing. Cohen's voice is reminiscent of a truck trying to turn over on a cold Montreal morning. Not pleasant, but a familiar sound, and that sound was honored at the Junos earlier this year with the Best Male Vocalist Award.
You know, it's only in a country like this that I could get the Male Vocalist of the Year.
Last week, Cohen received a Governor General's Performing Arts Award. While he's a bona fide star around the world, musical acceptance here in North America is something new for Cohen.
This is my work. Writing is my work.
Homeowners with vacation properties in BC fear they are going to get hit hard by a new tax plan. The government says its speculation tax is aimed at encouraging people to rent out their empty homes. But as Briar Stewart explains, critics are worried about unintended and costly consequences.
Okay, so this is our outdoors.
For Norma Mitchell, this was part of the appeal of buying a townhome in BC.
We've got the covered patio. If it does rain, we can still barbecue.
And like many others who own in this complex on Vancouver Island, she's from out of province.
We have worked up to spending about 5 months of the year here. We do have a home in Edmonton. We go back and forth.
Her home is just outside Parksville, BC, a coastal community known for its beautiful beaches and the high number of retirees who flock to them. But life here is about to get more expensive because property taxes are slated to go up for those who own a second place and don't rent it out. Parksville is one of the BC communities that will be subject to the new speculation tax. The government has said one of the goals was to target people that were using the housing market like the stock market and to create more affordable rental housing. The tax will apply to communities with some of BC's most sought-after property. It will include large parts of Vancouver Island, Metro Vancouver, and Kelowna. In 2019, the tax will be 2% of the property's assessed value.
If we are speculators, we're not very good at it because we're still here. We're in our 12th year here.
Parksville's mayor is worried the tax could hurt the city's entire economy.
The tourism industry, the construction industry, our tax base here in Parksville could be affected.
The provincial government says it's still working out some of the details, including how it will affect full-time BC residents that have more than one home, or if it will affect them at all.
It is a new tax. It's a bold measure, and so we're taking our time to make sure that we look at all the issues and all the concerns that have been raised.
As for Mitchell, she says she and her husband are now considering selling, not only because her property taxes are going up.
I'm just not doing it.
But she doesn't want to be treated like an outsider in a community she feels a part of. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Parksville, BC.
No more lies! No more lies! Racial equality, yes. White supremacy, no.
I was actually outside the museum in the protest. I was one of the protesters. To be positioned in this way in this particular show is important because it gives us an opportunity to have a voice in a new way.
Canada's largest museum wants you to know what it means to be Black in this country. That's quite a reversal for the Royal Ontario Museum, which has had to apologize in the past for being tone deaf on matters of race. Adrian Arsenault met the artists who've been given this platform to hear firsthand what they have to say.
What you're looking at is the work of 9 artists, 9 creators looking at the past and present of Black culture in Canada. This is a mix of generations, of backgrounds, of ideas, and even then, this just touches the broad spectrum of what it means to be Black in Canada. The exhibit is called Here We Are, and where it is the Royal Ontario Museum. That resonates. Because back in 1989, that same museum curated a controversial exhibit into the heart of Africa. Labeled demeaning, colonial.
Tell the truth about Africa!
Protests came quickly.
Racist Ontario Museum!
It took the ROM 27 years until 2016 to apologize. And all this means Here We Are takes on a whole new significance. I met up with 3 artists of the current exhibit to talk about their work and their stories, and we began by discussing the loudest and biggest installation, Sucking Teeth, which is what it says.
We can't not talk about this exhibit behind you here. So you've seen it all before. Can you give me a sense of what it's about, aside from obviously about sucking teeth?
There's so much into this that
I feel like it's happiness, it's sadness, it's disapproval, it's approval, it's all of that. And watching this piece actually made me realize how much I do it. Because I walked away and I would like hit my foot or something. I was like, and then I was like, oh, damn it, I did do it a lot.
Then you chipped yourself again.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the fact that you can hear it wherever you are in this space.
And she's right. The whole time we walk through that busy exhibit, there's that sound. Sometimes affirmation, sometimes judgment.
So Bushra, help me out here. I know this is St. Kitts, but those newspapers are from Newfoundland.
Yes, so those are from the Evening Telegram. So this image is from 1903, and the newspaper ads are also from the same era. From the Evening Telegram, St. John's paper, which is still in circulation today.
So what's the connection you're making between the two?
So I'm trying to draw the connection between the centuries-old links between Newfoundland and the Caribbean that aren't very well known. So there was a trade in commodities.
And that's sugar cane,
and
so we're talking rum.
So we're talking about rum, we're talking molasses, and so Newfoundlanders, every year are very familiar with, the barrel of rum that they might get at Christmas time, but people don't really know that history and how that trade kind of underpinned slavery and its afterlife.
When you made the connection with this image, were you mad or were you just curious?
I was curious about who were these people,
Yeah.
right? I was angered by the mocking title card.
What do you mean the mocking? Like, help me out
Well,
with
this
that.
term, pickaninny's candy store, it's a really pejorative term to describe black children. So, here they are engaged in really hard, difficult work. They're probably posed, here, eat this piece of sugar cane, and making light of their social location, of the conditions that they're living under.
Yeah, that's no candy store.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, it's no candy store, exactly. So I renamed the piece Sweet Childhood, so I'm commenting on the irony of the original title and also thinking about how diametrically opposed that title is from the conditions that they're living in. So it's a very layered image for me. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the name of this, Being, Belonging, and Grace. Why that collection of terms?
For a number of reasons. The installation is really about what it means to be human. And it's a simple idea in a way with many layers embedded within it. So being human as a black person, what does it mean to walk into a room, to be in the city? How do we enter spaces? So how are we being understood and how we understand ourselves, how we belong, and grace, how we grace the landscape, how simply black lives are often not thought of in the way of gracing or bringing something really joyful or beautiful to a landscape. And I wanted to make sure that I showed that way of being. So finding our space, refusing to be erased, just finding those moments of joy.
So refusing to be erased, there's an invisibility about what you're talking about in terms of occupying space.
Yeah, a lot of my work is about hypervisibility and invisibility because, when I step in a room, I'm not invisible, but people can choose to ignore me or not hear my voice, but I am at the same time hypervisible. So I'm always in between those worlds. And so what I'm trying to imagine is a way that we are just visible, just human.
Esma, tell me what we're looking at.
So we're looking at a wearable sculpture composed of chains, shoes, football gear, reimposed with West African fabric.
So this feels very modern. It feels like I'm looking at sort of frame of Colin Kaepernick here.
You are.
So do you remember the first time you saw Colin Kaepernick take a knee?
I do. I didn't see it during the game. I saw it on the news, and I was just like, this is such an interesting gesture, because the actual gesture of taking a knee is actually used in football to secure a snap. And I was just like, this is such an interesting gesture to then reuse as an act of resilience and resistance. And I was really marinating on what that gesture actually meant, because it was so subtle, yet so powerful. And then obviously the gesture kept growing and growing and growing, and then multiple players from the NFL were using it, and then everyone just kept on doing it with solidarity, and it kind of made me really think about what that meant in that time.
So, I mean, this is a very modern representation, but clearly, I mean, with the West African fabric, this is history too.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, I really wanted to reimpose African history and who we are and where we come from back on what I believe to be a kind of a form of neo-slavery, which is athleticism in our contemporary context, right? And it was really important for me to have that layering effect, and the same with the chains. They're all remnants from what slavery was, right? And to just reimpose them back onto this outfit and then have him stand quite pronounced in it, it felt like the right thing to do.
What are the 150 pounds of chains on your back?
Years and years of colonization. And not actually having been a part of that, because I'm only 25, but just the remnants of that time.
And what does that look like for you?
Like in the everyday?
Yeah.
People not wanting to touch doors after I touch them, people touching my hair, commenting on my hair or my skin color. They're very micro things, but accumulated together become quite impactful on who you are and what you think of yourself, especially coming up as a young Black woman.
Are you telling me people don't want to touch doors after you do?
That's happened quite a bit. Less in Toronto than in London, Ontario, but it definitely happens.
What do you do in a moment like that?
Just hold the door for them, and if they don't want to touch it or they get weirded out, just keep on going. There's some moments where you think it's a teaching moment, and it's a good point to try to educate, because a lot of people, they don't actually have hate in their heart. They just don't know any better.
Still to come on The National. We'll check out a hockey game in Yellowknife with a very special player and his team, because when he shoots, they all score.
It's really, we're just trying to help him and make it really fun for all of us. And he's done a great job at making it fun for us too.
The punches were thrown in Czechoslovakia, but their impact was felt halfway around the world in Canada.
What's your reaction to yesterday's international hockey fisticuffs fiasco?
Today, the junior hockey Donnybrook was the talk of the open line shows, from hockey coaches.
But we must remember that in hockey, fighting is part of the game, and it has been for a long time.
To the mothers of young players.
But I am observing us losing a great deal of talent, beautiful young men, like I say, at 12 or 15, just refusing to play hockey anymore.
CBC sportscaster Bruce Dobigan has seldom seen such an outpouring of emotion.
I thought that all of a sudden I realized what a deep sort of strain this hits in Canadian people, that hockey touches people like nothing else. I think it's the one thing that we really associate with our national pride.
The hockey fight of the month. Joe Cirillo of the Devils in the light, Bobby Basson of the Islanders in the dark.
Violence is nothing new to pro hockey. The American networks even assemble special packages of the NHL's lowlights. Junior hockey is supposed to be different, and generally it has been. In 1982 and in 1985, Canadian juniors won the World Championship. They had little trouble with the strict international rules against fighting. In fact, the Canadians even won the Fair Play Medal a couple of years ago. As for yesterday, Al Eagleson, Canada's top diplomat on international hockey, thinks the Canadian players had no choice.
It's a sad answer to a problem created by a lack of self-discipline, which is totally understandable. I think if my son had been there, he would have jumped the boards to help his friends.
If there's one word that keeps coming up, it's discipline. You have to teach discipline to kids, whether they're 14 or whether they're 24, playing internationally. They have to be disciplined. They have to understand that these are the rules of the games over here. You're not playing by your own rules anymore.
As the lights went out in Czechoslovakia yesterday, a new debate about Canada's game was just beginning.
They turned the lights off in the arena, but that isn't going to solve anything.
We spoke to two of the Canadian players just after their arrival at Toronto Airport, goalie Sean Simpson and defenseman Kerry Huffman.
Sean, where were you in all the kerfuffle?
I was on the bench at the time. Jim Waite started the game, and I don't know, I was just watching the game and it all came, and I just came off the bench.
What do you mean, I just came off the bench? I mean, what goes on in a guy's head? What do you see? What boils out, and why do you move? Because you were programmed to not move out there, right?
I don't know, just we're on the bench and we see 5-on-5 guys fighting on the ice, and we see the other team leave their bench, and it's just a natural reaction that we go out and help the guys in our team and stick up for the guys in our team, and I don't know, you don't even really think twice of it. It's just something you do.
How many were you each taking on, Kerry? I mean, where were you? Did you get hurt?
No, I didn't really get hurt. There was one time when I had a hold of two of them, and then but then your players came on and helped you out. So that was good. There's always somebody there to help you out.
Right here, you're going to feed across to McGregor. He scores. Oh, it took a couple touches, but it's a power play goal for Canada.
That's Canada's Tyler McGregor scoring against Italy today at the Paralympics in Pyeongchang. Canada's sledge hockey team has now shut out two teams. McGregor clearly at home on the world stage, but he's also lent his know-how to a sledge hockey team in Yellowknife. Here he is training them last year. And the other notable thing about this team, only one of them needs to play like this. His name is Riley Oldford, and all of those teammates have rallied around him in a very special way. Here's David Common with another look at their story.
Yellowknife in the winter requires a special kind of stamina. You can get a lot colder than this, making the arena one of the warmer places to gather, especially these days. Yellowknife's first ever sledge hockey team, just like the Paralympians. Thing is, almost none of these kids need a sledge.
Okay, now put your feet back on.
They have no disability.
No better? Yeah. Ready?
But they're doing it because of a boy who does.
You almost got it over the red line. Oh, you got it over the red line.
Riley Oldford lives and breathes hockey. Even off the ice, he has no trouble handling a puck.
Oh, no.
One time.
Okay, what?
Just.
And he has no problem defeating his elders either.
Come on, yeah, right here. I'm open.
Oh. There have been many challenges, though, related to his cerebral palsy, beginning on day one. Riley was a code blue delivery, born nearly 2 months premature. At just under 4 pounds, he was put in intensive care. So sick, so tiny, his parents were barely allowed to touch him.
You got a kid here who many people, many doctors didn't think would live.
He defied the odds. He was christened on the day that he was born. The doctors came to us and said that he wouldn't make it through that day.
That's a tough thing to hear.
It is a tough thing to hear.
So when you think about this guy sitting here now, and this game you're going to play, and all these friends who are joining him, that's a pretty big journey.
It is, for him to be able to play hockey and to be able to do that in Yellowknife with his peers and with people that he's met through hockey and through school is amazing.
So this is your room.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's a Derek Whitson stick.
That's this?
Yeah, that one. And
Okay.
that was from 2011.
Okay, and who's he? Who's Derek?
So he used to play on Team Canada
Yeah.
for sledge hockey.
So he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Riley is now 12 years old. but his situation has meant growing up faster in some ways.
Yeah?
And he's pretty frank about it.
And your number?
Yeah.
68. Did you choose 68?
Yeah. So when I was born,
Yeah.
I had 68 days on a ventilator, so it helps you breathe.
Yeah.
Pumps
Like a
air
life
in.
support.
Yeah, life support. Pumps air in, takes it out. Pumps air in, takes it out. So
It's a big subject. And sometimes you forget Riley is just a kid. A pretty popular kid, as it turns out.
When you started playing, you were the only kid.
yeah,
And then a bunch of your friends said,
I want to try it.
and when I think about what's happened with you and your friends, it's that your friends said, if stand-up hockey is not accessible to you,
Then
that
we'll
they're
just
going to
do
be...
sledge hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they like it.
What does that say about all your friends who did this?
They're really good friends. They do a lot of things just so I can do it with them.
We caught up with those friends. About 22 of them now play on sledges.
It's good to get on the ice a bit more often, and it's good workout for the arms.
Yeah.
Liam Leonard was one of the first.
When you look at a kid like Riley, like, you know, the way you walk into the building and the way he walks into the building is different. But by you and a lot of your friends getting together,
Yeah.
you're taking a lot of that difference away.
Yeah. It's really, we're just trying to help him and make it really fun for all of us. And he's done a great job at making it fun for us too.
Much of that work is thanks to Riley's mom. She is herself one of the players. About 10 are on the ice at any one time, and Riley, when that puck is up for grabs, well, he races for it.
Out on the ice, he doesn't need anybody to help him.
No. I think this is where he probably enjoys himself most.
It's not that hockey erases the challenges in his life, but it's an important reminder that his life is about much more than those challenges. Riley's friends insist he should be thanked for introducing them to sledge hockey. He's pretty quick to thank them, too.
Awesome.
What's so awesome about it?
Just they could do so many other sports. They could be at home. They could not even care.
Yeah.
And they come out and they love it.
1, 2, 3, sled!
David Coleman, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Love that story. Here's a look at one we'll have for you tomorrow.
I'm Margaret Evans in Cape Town, where lining up for water has become what they call the new normal here. So normal, they even have an express lane, and the guys who'll carry your water for you are nicknamed Ubers. Cape Town battles the water crisis. We'll have that story tomorrow on The National.
On May 11th, 1940, Winston Churchill chaired the first meeting of his wartime cabinet, and one of the subjects they discussed was what to do with what the new prime minister considered enemy aliens or suspect persons. They were German or Austrian nationals who, for one reason or another, were stranded on British soil during the outbreak of the war.
Many of these Austrians and Germans were Jews who had escaped from Nazi persecution. They were businessmen and professional people, students, far from dangerous, and yet they were lumped together with the regular prisoners of war and shipped to internment camps in this country. Last month, a group of these Jewish internees held a reunion in Montreal. We attended the reunion and spoke with some of them, and also with historian Paula Draper.
My name is Julius Pfeiffer, Dr. Julius Pfeiffer. I
lived till March 33 in Düsseldorf. I was Dutch. Left March 33, fled to Amsterdam, lived there till the 10th of May 1940. And when Amsterdam surrendered and the Germans came in from the east side, I left from the west side, went to Ermuiden, fled to England. They put me up in Pentonville, maximum security prison. And when I asked the governor whether this was not against the international regulation for the protection of civilian internees during wartime, he said, chap, you don't realize that there's a war going on. So my opinion is since that time that regulations for the protections of civilian internees during wartime apply only in peacetime.
People were convinced that England was going to be overrun by the Nazis, and they started to look around to see who they could protect themselves from, and they saw this large group of enemy nationals who had, though they had been through a tribunal system and had been classified as friendly to the cause, were still enemy nationals. There was panic on every level of society, and the government was no exception. But the panic was particularly profound in the military. And the military advised the government that these people who were roaming around should be at least put in one place so that they could be watched. And the government accepted that advice. And so in May of 1940, internment of refugees began.
Shortly after their internment in England, the male refugees were deported to Canada and Australia. In Canada, their home for the next couple of years will be camps like this one. This film from the National Film Board archives is titled simply Enemy Aliens.
This is what democracy looks like!
Here's what we're watching this week on The National. Students and teachers across the U.S. are expected to walk out of school on Wednesday to demand tougher gun control laws. March 14th marks 1 month since the deadly mass shooting at a Florida high school. We could see some angry protests in California this week aimed at the U.S. president. Donald Trump is heading there for the first time since taking office, and you could say he's entering enemy territory. California is a largely Democratic state and has been the epicenter of the so-called resistance against Trump. So what's he doing there? Well, he's going to be looking at prototypes for his long-promised wall on the Mexican border.
But how the hell can I help it? I'm so in love with you.
And a very different kind of spectacle. The Junos are just 2 weeks away, and tomorrow we are expecting to learn the full roster of performers for the big night. We already know some of the marquee names, including Jessie Reyez and Daniel Caesar. Canadian singer Michael Bublé is hosting on March 25th. Well, Montrealers are remembering the matriarch of an iconic Jewish deli tonight. Ruth Walensky served up food at Walensky's, but also a sense of community. She died on Friday at the age of 98. Simon Nakonechny has her story.
Walensky's light lunch seems frozen in time. The decades-old deli is far from fancy, but that's just the way Ruth Walensky liked it.
She was friendly, but she was also very to the point as well. She wanted you to enjoy your sandwich, and then she wanted to serve the next person right away.
It was a fun place to be. It was really a fun place to be. And I've been going since I was 4 or 5 years old.
Today, mourners remembered her and the sandwich she was famous for. All beef salami and bologna on a pressed roll, with mustard. Always with mustard.
It was a very simple formula of this is what it was. If you don't like it, then just don't eat here.
Founded by Ruth's husband Mo in 1932, Walensky's has been at the same location in the Mile End neighborhood since the 1950s. The area was once home to a large community of Ashkenazi Jews.
It's become a spot that has become a central meeting point for many people in the Jewish community. You know that, if you're around the area, you can always pop into Walensky's for a sandwich, and it's like you're part of the Walensky's family.
The deli was written into history by Mordecai Richler in his novel The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, and a 1974 adaptation starred Richard Dreyfuss.
With his movie, put us really on the map. But so did our specials.
Over the years, the neighborhood changed and gentrified, but under Ruth's steady guidance, the deli never lost its soul. Her children now run things. And while the family is saddened by the loss of their matriarch, her legacy lives on. Simon Dakaneshny, CBC News, Montreal.
Okay, and that does it for us. Thank you so much for joining us on The National for this Sunday, March 11th. Good night.